Welcome to Janet Russell Presents The Daily Blue. Here I am back for another great Monday, and I have a fabulous, fabulous guest. Someone who some of you ladies would be very interested in you young gentlemen, and even you boys and girls, because Soki Joe is a martial arts instructor, teacher. So I really want, I feel it's real important to have him on here. You know, there's so much stuff going on out there now that we really need to learn to protect ourselves, and you just never know. But before we get to Soki Joe, I'm going to let you guys know where I'll be. Okay. All right. This is a new place I'm going to be. I cannot wait. Monday, December 7th, Oceans 5, and it's 99 Route 25A, Shoreham, and I'm going to be doing an evening of spirit communication there. So that's Monday, December 7th, and it will start at 7 p.m., and you need to, reservations are required. So you need to give them a call at 631-849-6414, and it's got to be reservations, no walk-ins. This is what they told me, so I guess they need to, be prepared for the food that's coming in. Then I'm going to be going back on Thursday, December 10th. I'm going to be going back to the Manor House. I love that place. That's at 1443 Montauk Highway, Mastic. I will be doing individual readings there. Last time I did an evening of spirit, and it was great. They have a separate room, and they're really, really great people. You've got to make a reservation there, and this is a dinner event as well. The number there is 631-295-0592, and I believe that's going to start at 6 p.m. I'm pretty sure. But when you call and reserve, they will let you know what time it is, okay? Then I will be back at my old haunt, the Edge Hair Salon, out in, where is it? Roosevelt Field. I almost said Woodbury. Roosevelt Field, Garden City. I'll be there Saturday, December 12th. All of these places, of course, weather permitting. If it snows, we will reschedule. I won't put anybody out in the snow. But this is the Edge Hair Salon, and there you can give them a call and make a reservation. There I will be doing my individual readings. I'll be there from noon to 4 p.m., and it's 516-747-0606, and that's right next to Nordstrom. So when you go in there, you'll park by Nordstrom, and when you walk in, it's right there, okay? And of course, my home base here locally is the Island Glow Tanning Salon, 1699 Route 112, Medford, and that's where that's my home base. So basically, when I do my readings there, you would call me at 631-654-3353 to make the appointment. This week, actually, I'm kind of open, so if anybody wants to, reading with me this week, that'd be great. Then I have another new place, which I love. We were there a couple of weeks ago. I'll be there once a month. Heart, Mind, and Spirit. If some of you folks remember when I had David on and he did the havening with the healing, it's like a healing aspect. He's there every so often. He does his appointments there too. And I'd just like to give a shout out. Andrea is a great lady. She's also a pet healer. So if any of you folks out there have animals that it's almost like what do they call it? The animal whisperer or something to that event. So she does Reiki and all that on the animals, and that's Heart, Mind, and Spirit, and that's 106 Prince Road, Rocky Point, and the number there to reserve is 516-395-4904, and I will be there Saturday, December 19th, weather permitting, of course, from noon to 4 p.m., and we must reserve there, and there I'll be doing my 15-minute private sessions. And then, back by popular demand, I love this guy, Danny. Danny just is starting a new radio show, which I actually was on. It's called Pizza Talk, and it will be on, I know it's going to be on the internet. I think it's on Sunday nights, but I can find out and let you guys know next week. I'll be back there on Tuesday, December 22nd. There's also a dinner event. All my restaurants are basically dinner events. And to call there to reserve there, it's 516-756-2753, and that address is 313 Main Street, Farmingdale. We're not sure yet if we're going to be doing individual readings that night or a group session. He's going to basically see what most of the of the people that make the reservations, what they want. If they want the individual readings, I'll do that. If they want the group, they usually like the group. I like the group because I connect with our loved ones on the other side, and to me that's so exciting. And I get a lot of messages, and to me that's a great thing. And then December 23rd, I will be back at McGovern's Irish Pub, Montauk Highway, Oakdale. There you can get just a reading or a dinner if you want to get a dinner with the reading. I was supposed to be there on the 25th, but it's the day before Thanksgiving, and we decided, no, we're not going to do it on the 25th. So we decided to do it December 23rd. So that's where I'm going to be the month of December, and I'll probably have a few more places. They'll call sometimes. If I have an open date, then I will definitely, I'll book it that way. So now I'm going to introduce my friend, okay, and I know Soki Joe probably a couple of years. Wouldn't I say? It's been a while since I met you.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah. So we've been talking quite a bit about him coming on. Talking about there's so much going on out there that we need to learn how to protect ourselves.
Yes.
And it gets to the point where it's getting scarier and scarier. Every time you turn on the news, there's somebody getting mugged or somebody getting whatever, So I don't want to interrupt you. So before we get to you, we're going to just take a break for a quick commercial. And then we can talk about where you do your teaching. I know you work with some pretty famous people, and love to give that out to the audience.
Okay, great.
So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tim Stead. I'm from Star Communications. We're a marketing support company. And if you need help with your next marketing project, please call 273-1900, or you can go to our website, starcommunications.us.
Here we are back with Soki Joe. Joe, I'm so thrilled to have you here. I know it was like last minute notice. I was supposed to have another person, and they told it was a 10 at night, and I'm like, no, I do my shows in the morning. So thank you so much for coming last minute. I really appreciate
That's
that.
great. That's great.
So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? Where you teach and you train, and a lot of the positives that you do, because I know you help so many people.
Well, I've been teaching full-time for 45 years in Huntington Village, and teach mostly traditional martial arts, and I teach self-protection. I teach relaxation techniques. I also teach Internal Energy Plus, which is a grounded creative martial arts meditation technique.
Okay, that's good.
And teach ages from 4 all the way up to 74.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I once upon a time in 1976, I had someone who came in a wheelchair,
Okay.
and I taught him for 4 years.
That's fabulous.
And he was bullied and attacked by 3 people.
Do you get a lot of students or people in that are bullied? Because I know that's become a very big problem as well.
They're not only in the school, but in the workplace. I get women coming in who are professionals who are bullied or intimidated by their coworkers or whatever.
So wrong.
And they just come in for the confidence building, and just if they're at night and they come home late at night, or they go to the train station, there's a possibility of them being aware, because what this training does is not only does the physical aspects of it, but it does the mental and the awareness aspect. The awareness is 99% of your protection.
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
The way you carry your body, your posture, the way you vibe out to other people and stuff, and
that's so important out there, And I understand you work with the Guardian Angels as well.
Yes, started 5 years ago with Curtis Lewa. Mm-hmm. They were invited in Huntington Station because of the things that were going on, and things have gotten a little better with them and everything. And
I think they were out in Patchogue a little while ago.
Actually, they're actually now in Greenport and Riverhead now too. They started chapters and stuff out there. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and I'm still training here in Huntington.
And now, when you work with them, basically, what do you do with them? Basically,
I do self-defense protection methodology with them, and I also go out patrol with them, and I train their people that before they go out on patrol, they train with me. they pass through my inspection, whatever, to see if they're okay, and then they go out actual on patrol. And it's actually a community-based thing where you're actually watching your own neighborhood.
Well, that's
Like we used to do when we were growing up. Remember
Exactly,
how
exactly.
people used to watch out for people? The only thing, the identity with the jacket and the beret
right.
started years ago when they were doing the trains and whatever in the
I remember
Bronx,
that.
Fordham,
I
and
remember that. He was married to Lisa. He was married to Lisa.
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah, yeah.
I think she's a news reporter now because I did see her on TV.
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes,
You know,
yes.
They were a beautiful couple too. It was
Yeah.
said, well, things happen. You know.
Yeah, well,
life on life's terms.
whatever, yeah, whatever.
Now, when a person comes to you for training, usually how long is the training course?
They usually train for about an hour each time, and I encourage them to come at least for 3 months or
And
6
how
months
often-
or a
and
year,
how often do they have to
once or
go?
twice a week.
Okay, cool, great. What do you find, with the groups? What do you find your most common age group? Is it the young people, or the older?
It's spread out.
Mixed,
It's
mixed.
spread out. You got older people, you got professionals, and I also have children and stuff and
Yeah.
families, and basically the same idea. They were bullied, or they need confidence building of some type, and that's the main reason they come to me, is for the confidence
say I
building.
want to come to you that I was bullied and I'm afraid to go out, and whatever the areas are of whatever the scenario is of it. Okay, so I'm gonna come to you and I'm gonna be like, okay, Sophie Joe, I'm apprehensive. How would you calm me down to turn around and say to me, well, we'll take it step by step.
Well, Janet, if I sat you down right now and this was my desk, I say, Janet, I know you've been traumatized or something has happened to you. The first thing you want to do is you have to realize that you have to make the decision that things are going to get better.
Okay.
You're
So
going
you
to
take that negativity right away, which is great.
you have to realize that I have 50,000 plus hours of experience and 45 years of experience in Huntington, the same spot. All my lineage goes back over 1,000 years. I have what I have to give to you, but you have to be ready to receive it.
Exactly.
You have to be ready to change. Otherwise, I can do anything I want with you like anything else, but unless you have the desire to do it,
The openness, basically, to accept.
you have to be open to do it. And otherwise, you see, if you better yourself, that will not happen because your awareness of it will stop it. And you can continue this not only for self-protection, but it's also for your health. It's for breathing. It's for relaxation. I've been doing this all my life.
How did you get into it? What brought you into deciding you wanted to do martial arts?
Well, I was just out of high school and into college, and somebody who was in my sphere of influence of the students who I became a friend with. Was into education, whatever. He was a year ahead of me, and he actually showed me a technique that was really quick, and he showed me a technique to like a nerve point. I'm not going to mention specifically.
No, yeah.
And I kind of said, well,
Interesting, yeah.
it kind of whoa, that was pretty quick. Well, what did he do? And then he explained to me what he did, because it just fascinated me, the physical aspect, but the mental aspect also. The thing that he did to me, and the quickness of it had me occupied my mind for about 5 seconds, where if you did that to someone, that would be more than enough to at least give an escape type of a thing,
Oh, okay, I see.
because you're altering someone's perception of what's happening at the moment. So they're thinking of grabbing you, but when you do something and they change their aspect for 10 seconds, that gives you enough time either to do something or get out of there,
Right.
which is what I focus on now.
When did you start finding more women were coming to you, for protection?
Always.
Always, okay, because
Always.
I know, I think it was predominantly a male.
It was a predominantly male.
Predominantly, yeah.
Started in the 70s when we had all the disruption, the social disruption in the 70s, and more women were getting hurt, more women were getting bullied.
Right.
And the vulnerability was there. Now that the women are learning martial arts,
Yeah, it's
it's empowering them, and they're not afraid, and I'm actually, it's great that they get involved because it's building up their self-confidence or whatever.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I know some very fine female martial artists who run dojos and stuff, and
That's great.
they can very easily take care of someone who's untrained if they don't know that she knows that, and she gets like so-called the upper hand on them right away.
That's fabulous.
And it really works.
Yeah. Well, that's
Really,
why,
really
that's
works.
why I felt like it's so important, especially like every day you're reading, this one's getting mugged, that one's getting, somebody's pulling the pocketbook, and it's sad because if they knew just a certain amount of whatever you teach, it wouldn't be that situation.
No, it would not be.
Yeah.
In fact, when you exude that confidence, it was shown that people that aggress on other people or who are criminals on other people, and they mug or they steal or whatever, they always look for the posture. They always look for the weak posture. They always look for the weak target.
Interesting.
So if you project a strong image, they're going to say, this is not worth it. Like an animal in the jungle.
Right.
They'll go not to the herd, but they'll go to the one that's off the herd.
Exactly. Like by themselves,
And that's how they that's how they prey on people.
Interesting.
That's how they prey on people.
Yeah, interesting. So if people want to contact you, and I know you want to give your address of where you do your. I've been there to your studio. Do you want to give your address?
Yes,
there?
it's New York Martial Arts. It's
Right.
147 Woodbury Road, second floor in Huntington Village.
Right. And how would they get in touch with you if they wanted to? Do you have I know you're on Facebook, so I know you have a Facebook.
Facebook.com, Soke Joe Jarrell.
Okay, great.
And
Fabulous. And how long does it usually take you, like, say they want to set up an appointment? Do you usually set them, they can come right in usually, or is there a time?
sometimes if it's really an immediate thing, it could be the same day.
Can I make a suggestion? Okay, first of all, do you mind if I give you a little mini reading?
Not at all.
Okay, and what's your birthday?
December 9th.
Okay. All right, so you're Sagittarius, so you definitely are a people person. What I keep feeling around, and when I get chills, it's like confirmation. For some reason, I'm feeling like you're supposed to be teaching in some schools. Have you ever gone that route yet?
Yes,
Okay.
in the past.
Okay, because I'm basically feeling that this is going to be a new door opener for you. Maybe not the regular, public schools and whatever, but possibly like charter schools and stuff like that. Because I'm just being shown from above, of course, that you have a gift, and of course I know you like to pay it forward, and by doing this, you're going to make so many more people aware and how to protect. Also, another thing, just a second came to my mind. Have you ever thought of maybe doing some stuff with home care groups? Because sometimes,
Yes, I have.
Because sometimes the home care, sometimes they may come up to a patient that may have certain issues, and maybe they may need some training. Have you done anything with home
I've
care?
done some people who were like, say, nurses and stuff,
Right.
and I trained them, when they were
Especially if they deal with the people with emotional situations.
the people that I trained like maybe 10, 12 people privately because they were dealing with people with emotional issues.
Right, I think that's so important.
And once in a while they were aggressed on, or they became unstable and unruly and whatever, and they had to,
So a lot of
fend
them
it off
right,
and
so a lot
control
of them are
it.
frustrated, even the people with Alzheimer's or dementia.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are frustrated, and I think if they, if some of the home care aides, if they had a little bit of analogy of how to protect. In fact, I was talking to, I had Sarah Anka on my show. She's a legislator.
Right.
And because I have a friend of mine that has some emotional issues.
Right.
And I find that they go through home care quite frequently, the aides, and it's basically because they're frustrated. And a lot of these home care aides do not know how to deal with them. And I'm trying to get through to some of maybe the legislators, or the people in the county to have them go to classes, because there's a group called NAMI, National Association of Mental Illness, where it can teach them how to deal better with the Alzheimer's or the dementia or the emotionally unstable, because they don't get enough training, and sometimes the home care do not know how to deal with them, and it's sad because they need the work, and the home care, the people that are ill need the aids, but sometimes they get frustrated and they don't realize what they put out, and then the aids are like, oh. So I think if they were trained.
If there's a certain, if there's like I teach like bullying methods,
Right.
You accompany the techniques with your wording and your body posture.
Right.
They have to be aligned. So if they're aligned, if you're wording, or say like I teach the guardian angels,
Right.
How to talk to someone properly. It calms them down. There's a respectful
Exactly.
There's a respectful showing of what the person is trying to bring across to the person that's unstable. What happens normally, a lot of the times, like I was told stories where they just calmed the person down. There was no need for a confrontation.
Exactly.
There was no need because they knew exactly what to say, how to say,
Exactly.
how to posture themselves. And the way you posture yourself really is actually you're vibing out either confidence or you're a victim.
Exactly.
And that's that fine line that you have to constantly practice.
Oh, yeah.
So you not only practice the martial arts for the sake of the posturing, but for the self-defense, but the health, but you're constantly learning how to what the military call command presence, where they just know how to present themselves, but not in an aggressive way, but in a positive, confident way.
Where you're not a threat to the person.
Right.
You're more making them aware. Listen, you're not going to get away with what you're saying, but I'm talking to you gently. Where I'm not coming at you.
That's right.
In a negative foot, which I think it's something. But the more I think about it, because since I was discussing about some of these, I have a good friend that runs a home care, and I'm like, they've got to do more training. There's people that just, they send in and they're not fully, they're trained to whatever the basics are.
Right.
But that's not training when you have dementia or Alzheimer's or emotional stuff. So I think that might be I'm going to connect you with my friend, because I think this might be a very, very good way to maybe train some of these home cares. People, because it is protecting them as well.
Yeah.
So, but I also, to go back to your reading, I also see an expansion around you. So you may be asked to do work in another location as well as where you are now.
Yes.
Yes. So but it's all good. I'm not seeing anything negative. I do feel, though, that you might be a little stressed out right now, but the whole world's stressed out, so you're not any different than any of us.
I'm trying to buffer from it.
Yeah, I know. I can see that, because I feel the energy. But again, it comes back to the end of the year. We have all these different scenarios, family issues, and finances, and we're all in the same boat, so no one's unique. I truly believe that.
Absolutely.
But I find even with myself, when I get frustrated, and I do, because it's just part of the norm, I step away from the negative. I step away. I turn off the TV. I just go into another whole mode, and then I start thinking about how blessed I am.
Yes.
Of all the good things,
Yes.
Because, and I, like today, I had gone on Facebook, I told you earlier, and the first thing I went on, this one person was downing this other one, and then this other person was speaking nasty, and I'm like, we don't have yesterday, we don't have tomorrow, we only have the moment. So make the moment count.
Yeah.
Be happy, be loving, be kind, because, you can see somebody, and then 5 minutes later, they could move, they could be gone.
They're gone, and they're gone, yeah.
And it's sad, because life is so short.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the faster it's going.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough hours in a day. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
As a woman, and you came into my office, what would be the first things you would want to learn if you went to the mall right now and someone was following you? What would be your concerns, and what would be the first thing you would want to learn from me?
Okay. If I was going to the mall, I always have my phone handy. Okay? Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because if you see someone following, you can always dial 911. But what if they grab you? Okay? Then I would want to know.
That's what I'm alluding to.
Right.
Yes.
I would want to know, what would I do? I scream, which of course would be the main thing. Would you scream?
The wording, yes.
Right. But then would I give up or would I fight it?
Well, if they grabbed and they ran and they pulled your pocketbook out, you may scream and say help. And it was a robbery or something, whatever you're doing, you let it go. If they had you in a parking lot situation,
Right.
then we would do close in, tactics where if I grabbed you here or I grabbed your pocketbook, which I do with ladies.
Right. Right.
If they grab you this way, you swing your arm that way and you push them and you go this way to exit.
Okay.
Or you do a quick
So in other words,
move.
the opposite way.
You do a quick maneuver with a joint move or something, or you do a quick maneuver with the face of the body area
What
as a
about
clearing and as a protective method.
what about like say if you had your key out, jab them with the key? Does that work or no?
There is a way of doing it that could be pretty. It'd be a pretty good thing to do. Yes.
That would be my first thought. Is
Would you like me to show that to you now?
sure.
Okay. They show it like this. They show keys like this. Now, the thing wrong with this is if I hit something solid, this would hurt your hand.
Right. Okay.
So now, what you do is you take this key here,
Right. That would be the main key. Yeah.
and you hold it like you hold the cup. See, I'm holding a cup here.
Right.
I place the hand here.
Right.
I open this up here, and I point the thumb this way, because your thumb is a director to your shoulder.
Okay.
And I would show you a couple of thrusting methods with that.
Okay.
And then I would show you a couple of takedowns with this too.
Interesting.
Because if you stay close to someone and follow their motion, you have to stay like this close to someone,
Right.
like I have to the cap here, and I got to go this way.
Right.
If I'm holding your hand like this would go this way. I'd follow you this way. So if I press you like in the chest or I press you in the shoulder, and you go in one direction, if I use my foot a certain way, because they're not going to see it.
Right.
Because remember what I said, when you hit someone here, they're distracted.
Right. Right.
And
right.
then the takedown would take about maybe 2 seconds.
What about going for the eyes or the jugular? Does
Well,
that work?
well,
I'd be like,
the thing,
even though I'm only four.
the thing is, people think of the eyes, but then I ask people, would you be ready to do that if you got squeamish?
Who cares? You're saving your life.
I would go to the throat,
The jugular, like right there.
right into the throat.
Yeah.
Any place in the throat with this
Yeah.
would immediately get their attention.
Or for a male, you can always kick.
Yeah.
But then, what if they grab your leg? Then you're in worse.
Well, in a close-in confrontation, use your hands first,
Interesting.
and you stay in tight like this. You don't open down. You
So
drop.
you
drop your weight down.
Interesting. So you keep everything.
You drop in tight. You drop your weight down, almost like a wheel on a car when it turns. Everything's all the motion is like concentric and tight. So you drop in, and you lead in with this, and you'd go. The
For
primary
for
target
throat.
would be the
Yeah.
throat,
Yeah. Interesting.
and that's the way you'd use your fingers a certain way
what
too.
What if I'm walking and somebody grabs me from the back?
You turn around. You would turn around. I'm not going to show it here now.
No.
You would turn around and use the same method.
Interesting.
Because when I teach, I always have people go to the common denominator,
Right. Exactly.
which is your balance, staying close, and doing the same simple things over and over again. So it becomes almost like unconscious competence.
Interesting. Yeah. So to me, that's interesting. And I think it's real important, especially now with the holidays and people shopping and see, I won't go out at night. I won't go out when it gets dark.
If they just did this, if you were going to your car and you had your handbag here,
Right.
not that I have handbag or
No.
anything,
No.
so my wife would get to me on that.
Some men have the man bag.
Well, I'm into European handbag.
Or even a package in the hand.
Yeah, anything with a
Right.
package
Right.
or bag. What I
Right.
normally do is if I'm carrying groceries,
Right.
and I shop too, right?
Of course.
Groceries in my left hand, the keys are in my right hand.
Okay.
This is my strong hand, and I always carry my keys either like this or I carry them like this.
Okay.
And this
So
is
you're prepared.
this is always ready. And then you hold it when you hold it in tight like this,
Right.
you can drive it. Well, I'm going to mention it now. You can drive it into the body any place.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is,
Oh yeah, that's sharp. Yeah, that'll get.
if
them.
you hear that,
That will get them.
and that'll get their attention if you drive this into any place in the neck or whatever, that's going to give them a bad hair day.
Oh, I would think so. I would think so. And then they'll But then that's when your chance is to run. Or
If you dig this into the neck and you go about that deep,
Yeah.
You could probably go on a cruise.
Okay. Well,
Or you'd be able to get there. It's a full minute. I mean, that I've had people push there and stuff, and they're occupied for a full 2 minutes.
yeah. Well,
If
that's
you
good to know.
if you jab this in the sternum, any place in the sternum, and like you've ever seen somebody getting hit with a ball
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
chest
Oh,
and
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
this controls the breathing area.
Right.
They're occupied for a couple of minutes.
Interesting.
They're going to go down in a heap.
So we're almost coming down. Are we almost coming down to the end of the show? Okay. So why don't you give the audience again, how to contact you, your phone number, or email, whatever you're comfortable with, and this way they can contact you, for classes or to speak with you about, learning how to protect themselves. I think it's great. I think it's so important.
It's Soke Joe Giral, 147 Woodbury Road, Huntington Village. Facebook.com, Soke Joe. 1631-549-9612. Email sokejoe, SOKEJOE6 at AOL.com.
Thank you so much, Joe, for coming on. I really appreciate this, and I really feel like this is of big interest to many people. You're always invited back too.
Well, if anybody gets aware of anything, people should be taking stuff, because I was predicting the last couple of years that things are going to get worse.
Oh, it's
Well, not
out
only with
there
the
now.
not only with the stress, but the crime rate is going to go up.
Drugs, and, I mean,
It's-
so many people trying to run. It's a tragedy every day. You can't turn on the TV without something happening.
Yeah.
Well, folks, if you want to contact me, you can call me at 631-654-3353. You can email me at rosebudsjanet@msn.com. You can check out my website where I will be, or you can contact me here. I love this place. I'm here every single Monday. This is thedailyblue.com. My website is JanetRussellPresents.com. And stay well. You have a blessed holiday. Stay warm, stay dry, and stay positive. And most of all, be good to you, because you're the most important person here.
Amen.
See you next week.